up against Burnley's back four in a little bit of a stronger, a little bit more of a presence, and to me that's crying out for Adam Traore.
Yeah, he is on the bench tonight for Wolves. Okay, second half commentary on the way on Premier League Live. Our late kickoff tonight is Chelsea against West Ham, and London derby, a fierce rivalry between the two clubs from either side of the capital. Chelsea sweating on the fitness of Hudson-Odoi and Hakim Ziyech ahead of kickoff tonight. But let's hear from the two managers, David Moyes and first Frank Lampard.
I think he's doing a great job. They have good players, but you know, the way they're playing and the consistency they've got to the levels they've got this season been really impressive, because I think he's a experienced, very, very good manager who's obviously got his message across to them, and they're playing really well. The organisation of their team, the style that they play in is difficult to play against. They had threats on the counter-attack. They're very good at set pieces, so they're just playing really well. They're clearly a well-managed team.
We'll do our best. We're in good spirits ourselves. You know, we've been on a run of good results. You know, we can play better, but we also know that we've got a resilience about us at the moment, and we want to keep it going. We want to stay up near the top if we can. It's much better than it's been over the last year or so, looking at ourselves near the bottom three, so we want to try and stay away from that as much as we can.
Any goal scorer will want to score regularly, simple answer, but must have the mental toughness and confidence to go through periods, because everyone will go through them. Absolutely every striker. There's not been a striker in the history of the world that can manage to score game in, game out for a long career, so there's no problem on that front. He needs to remain confident, he needs to keep getting in the areas, and those goals will come without a doubt.
But more importantly, the players have got themselves in a really good condition. You know, our fitness levels have improved, our attitude. So I think all round we have improved. But again, you know, it's small steps. We're by far the finished article, and we've got a long way to go. And I can see lots of bits which I can improve and add to it as we go along. But you know, that takes time.
David Moyes there, and before that Frank Lampard. Two coaches go head to head tonight at Stamford Bridge. West Ham did win at Chelsea last season back in November 2019, and they beat them at home after the restart. And if West Ham, Darren Eadie, do win tonight, they go above Chelsea in the Premier League standings. Almost hard to believe.
Well, it is really, considering where they finished up last season. I think it wouldn't have been too out there to think that West Ham are going to struggle this season for relegation, but they've come out and proved everybody wrong. And I think, you know, as long as they get the ball into the box and Haller can try an overhead kick every single week, that seems to be their biggest threat they have.
By the way?
I mean, it's just incredible, but he seems to attempt one every single game. So, you know, but when a player's on form and they're scoring goals like they are at the moment, and as Frank Lampard said there, David Moyes has got bags of experience, and what he's been able to do this season is have that time with his team to make sure he can implement what he wants from them, rather than just taking over, you know, rather quickly as he did. You know, he's had a little bit of time to work with his players and set out how he wants things to be done, and they're certainly responding to it.
Who would you be playing on as a man who played out wide, Darren? Who would you be playing on the wings for Chelsea? They've got great options out there currently.
Yeah, where'd you start? I mean, you could play six out wide, I think, for Chelsea. But I think he's fantastic. When they signed him, I thought he was going to be a massive threat for them. I'm a huge fan of his, and not just in terms of his crossing ability, but you know, he can score goals as well. They've almost got such an array of talent in attacking areas that it's surprising me they don't score more goals. Sometimes you can, for me, you can confuse yourself as a manager because you have got so much choice. I still think they need to strengthen at the back defensively, Chelsea. Still concede too many goals, but they've got the blessing, I guess, of having that much talent going forward, but that brings its own problems, because Frank Lampard's got to try and keep them all happy, and that's a very difficult thing to do as a manager.
Chelsea come into tonight off the back of successive Premier League defeats, while West Ham have won their last two on the road in the Premier League. John Anderson on commentary for Chelsea versus West Ham. Still to come on Premier League Live, the second half of Burnley 1, Wolves 0.
TalkSport. Impress Lost Tribes people of the Andes by demonstrating the new updated TalkSport app. Listen live, listen again, and listen good, Buster. Download the app at TalkSport.com now. The Sports Bar, weeknights from 10 on Talk Sport.
Hello, I'm Andy Goldstein, and of course you can hear me on the Sports Bar with Jason Cundy. We'll be taking all your calls, text, tweets and emails on all the big talking points from the weekend's football. And remember, we bring you the very first look at the next day's back page headlines every single night.
The Sports Bar, weeknights from 10 on Talk Sport.
Talk Sport.
Talk Sport. Catch up and listen up without having to cough up. It's free. Go to talksport.com and download the app today. Or don't. Your choice entirely.
Hello, Jim White here. Now, if you're wondering about all the background hullabaloo, I'm helping out as lifeguard at the brand new Talk Sport swimming pool. Golf! No running there, boy! But never mind that. Join me tomorrow morning from 10, when I'll be up to my neck in the warm, chlorinated waters of the day's biggest sports stories. Come plunge with me, Jim White, straight in at the deep end of the action.
Weekday mornings from 10 on Talk Sport.
Driving home with Darren Goff and Durham, a sporting legend and an angry sports journalist who'll pick a fight with anyone.
Just really winds me up. Absolutely unbelievable.
To say I'm angry is an understatement.
Adrian Durham, what an absolute clown.
Dynamic, double-strength drive time radio.
Shall I stay?
I don't like listening to him. I'll turn off.
Do you want me to stay?
Adrian Durham and Darren Goff.
He's an idiot.
Right, hands up, who wants me to stay?
Drive time radio.
I don't have to.
Weekdays from 4, only on Talk Sport.
Paul Hawksby and Andy Jacobs on Sport. Talk Sport. It's the Double O Duo of the radio show that's like a collapsible bridge over a shark-infested pool of big names, sporting headlines, and topical debate. Join Paul Alligator Hopscotch Hawksby and Andy Oddjob Jacobs, flying the plane of sporting entertainment out of the horse's bum of conventional radio.
Have we got Pussy Galore on the show, Andy?
No, Paul, but we've got Todd Macklin's American Sports Roundup. Will that do?
Not really, Andy, no.
Hawksby and Jacobs, shaken but not stirred. Weekday afternoons from 1 on Talk Sport.
Talk Sport.
Talk Sport. Confuse bookmakers, impress football agents and entertain the kids with the improved TalkSport app. Totally fun, totally free, totally football. Download it now from TalkSport.com. Hey, kids, take my mobile and go over there and play or something. Don't press the button that says Tinder. TalkSport.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Burnley against Wolves from Turf Moor. I'm your host, Rob Daly, and alongside me is the former Norwich City and Leicester City winger, Darren. And this is Premier League Live. Burnley 1, Wolves 0. Ashley Barnes with the goal 10 minutes before half-time. Darren, Wolves have their work cut out here.
Yeah, they do. I wouldn't be surprised to see some changes. Whether he'll do them at half-time, I don't know, but I'm certainly... Sean Dyche should be very pleased with his team's performance in the last 15-20 minutes of that first half, and they look like they can score another goal, and you can see the Wolves players out on the pitch now trying to liven themselves up because they've got a bit to do. They started the game pretty well in terms of possession, but they haven't really created too many chances. Just the one shot from Neto from distance, which didn't really test the keeper too much. I expect Nuno to make some changes pretty quickly in this second half if things don't change for him.
Nuno steps out of the tunnel. The players are out as well. I can't actually see any changes there. Nuno is straight over to Lee Mason on the pitch to have a word about something, and before taking his place in the dugout. He looks pretty miserable, Darren, but he always in truth looks quite miserable, Nuno Espirito Santo.
Yeah, he's happy inside.
I'm sure he is. Okay, so the two teams are out. I can't see any changes. Looks like the fourth official is not required. So Burnley will get us back underway here, shooting from right to left, and it gives us a chance as we kick off to recap on the starting 11s and the teams as they are. Burnley will get us underway here as is played back to Tarkowski, the Burnley centre-back, who plays a big diagonal deep into Wolves territory, and Otasawi is challenged and the ball spins out for a throw-in for Wolves inside their own half. So Burnley with one change from the draw at Aston Villa as Barnes comes in for Rodriguez, and Barnes has scored to mark the occasion. Pope in goal, Lowton, Tarkowski, me and Taylor the back four, Brady, Westwood, Brownhill and McNeil the midfield four, with Wood and Barnes the two big guys up front. Wolves have the ball near their own area. They make four changes from the win over Chelsea. Patricio in goal, Kilman into the team for Willy Boly, not fit enough to start. Coady Coady and Saiss alongside him, Semedo and Aït-Nouri, the wing-backs, Moutinho, Neves and Otasowie in central midfield, Podence and Neto, the designated strikers, Darren, but they haven't really played like that.
No, they haven't. Both of them have played out wide. Neto, particularly on the right-hand side. And to be fair, he's been the best outlet for Wolves so far in that first half. He got in some good positions, but I think Semedo didn't do enough when he was getting into those areas, and neither did Podence, really not doing anything at all since I've seen him on the pitch. He's flitted about in and out of the game, but I think as a manager you always want to give your starting 11 the opportunity in the second half to dig themselves out of a hole, but I'm pretty sure if things don't change relatively quickly, he'll make some changes.
Here come Burnley, a minute into the second half. They lead thanks to that header goal from Ashley Barnes. He's back with Ben Mee, who picked up a knock in the first half but has been able to continue, and he plays it into the quick feet of Dwight McNeil. McNeil in field, halfway line. Westwood clips the ball forward to the edge of the area, laid off very nicely to Barnes. Barnes appears to have got too much on his ball, out to the corner flag to Lowton, but Lowton, the right back, keeps it in. Burnley cross it, deflection on that cross, and Rui Patricio was actually clattered into by his own defender, Roman Saiss, and it goes behind for a corner, and they looked at each other rather accusingly, as if one of them had called for it.
Yeah, not the best starts by Wolves in the second half, and I'm sure Nuno won't be too happy about that. But one thing Burnley are doing very well is, particularly since they've taken charge of this game, is their midfielders are joining in with the top two pretty quickly. So anything that's going forward, Ashley Barnes and Chris Wood have got someone there to support them straight away.
In comes the corner from McNeil. It's a deep one, and Ruben Neves is at the back post and heads it away. He had to, because Ben Mee was behind him. Mee gets the ball from the corner flag, and Burnley recycle it into the area, but Wolves have dealt with that one too. And now João Moutinho tries to breeze forward for Wolves away from the penalty area. Back to Otasowie, into Aït-Nouri, who left-footed clips the ball back into Coady in the Davis zone area, and Wolves will look to build out from the back. I suspect, Darren, if the rhythm of the game stays the same for the first 5-10 minutes of the second half, Nuno will be looking to that bench.
Yeah, I would think so, but you have to give Burnley credit in terms of where they've defended. They've as much as Wolves haven't created anything forwards, you have to give credit to Burnley for how well they've defended, but it's just all a bit laboured from Wolves. We're so used to see them attacking at pace and driving forward and hitting teams on the break with real pace, but everything's just a little bit laboured and a little bit slow from them when they are regaining possession defensively.
Burnley have it again. Taylor down the line to McNeil. The England under-21 international keeps it in play. On his left foot, hooks a ball into the middle. Again, there's a miscommunication between defender and goalkeeper as Coady heads it away. I think Patricio had called for that, but Wolves managed to deal with it. Nothing comes of it, but once again, a bit of a mix-up at the back for Wolves.
Yeah, I think Coady does the right thing, though, as a defender. If you're in an area you think you can head it and get a decent head on it, as much as your goalkeeper's going to call, I think you're still always going to go for it to make sure that you clear the ball as well.
Barnes has it for Burnley, by the corner flag near side away to our left. Taylor drops the ball back to McNeil, but he puts too much on that for the former Manchester United youth player Dwight McNeil, and it spins out for a throw-in to Wolves just inside their own half. Oh, they've given it away though, and Burnley have hit the bar. Disastrous from Wolves again, and Josh Brownhill this time, 4 minutes following the restart, picked up the ball near the edge of the area. It's Ruben Neves who loses it. That's really clumsy, and Brownhill has hit the crossbar. It stays 1-0.
I mean, Wolves have started the second half so sloppy, the goalkeeper and his defenders getting mixed up, and Ruben Neves this time, and when he puts his hand up straight in the air as soon as the ball clips the bar and goes over, and it kind of admits to the error that he made. But brilliant effort by Josh Brownhill. No other thought than to get that ball out of his feet, 1 or 2 touches, and trying to whip it into that top corner, only 6 inches or so out from making it 2-0.
He has not scored in the Premier League, Josh Brownhill, and there were some that suspected he was trying to claim that Aubameyang own goal recently. Can't blame him, I suppose, but he was very close there to making it 2-0 to Burnley. And Sean Dyche barking at his players, drinking water on the touchline. Must be delighted with his start here, Darren.
Yeah, he will be, the way they finished that first half in particular and started this one. And say Nuno will be the one on the sidelines at the moment in a bit of disarray, wondering what to do next, because at the moment it's all Burnley.
Certainly is, and Westwood stands over another free kick for Burnley, this just inside the Wolves half, and he chips it up to the back post. It's nodded on by Mee. Barnes is on the flick on. Woods has smashed it into the net. Chris Wood has got it, and Burnley with another ball into the area have scored again. Chris Wood with his third goal of the season. It's Burnley 2, Wolves 0.
Oh, but for me, it's all about Tarkowski and Ben Mee on this left-hand side, and Tarkowski in particular does brilliantly well. I think it's Otasawi who's picking him up. What he does is just lean in against him so Ben Mee can get the header on, gives him plenty of time to get up and drive that header back across the 6-yard mark, and Chris Wood, as always, at that far post, Poacher smashing the ball into the back of an empty net from the knockdown.
Wolves are in trouble here, 6 minutes into the second half. And it is the two big men up front who have got the goals. Ashley Barnes in the first half, Chris Wood in the second. He volleyed it in from 2 yards out with Patricio right in front of him. The goalkeeper could not keep it out. Oh, they're reviewing offside here.
Oh, no.
They're reviewing an offside here. So we're just seeing it on our monitors. I don't know if I could see it there myself. I mean, it's hard anecdotally.
I don't think Ben Mee was, but whether Tarkowski was initially, and then he leans, obviously he's involved in it as much as he doesn't get the header on, he leans across Otasawi to stop him heading the ball, and they're also thinking they're looking at a potential handball as well in there.
Okay, so we'll let the video assistants do their job here, and the decision is the goal stands. Burnley do lead 2-0, no reason to overturn it, and Wolves now in danger of losing once again in the Premier League.
Well, if Nuno wasn't thinking about making any changes in the early parts of the second half, he certainly will be now. They're chasing the game 2-0 down, and Burnley are all over them. Completely different side to what we saw in the first half an hour of this game. Burnley looked devoid of ideas, not getting any support to their two front men early. It's a complete change around. Everything now is going through those two front men, lots of support from midfield, joining quickly, lots of direct balls forward, and it's paying dividends for them.
And another one has seen them win the ball inside the Wolves half. Played out by McNeil to the left-hand side to Taylor, the left-back. Taylor, who got the assist for the Barnes goal in the first half, swings it into the box, but it is cut out this time by Ruben Neves, and it's out to Pedro Neto on the right-hand touchline. Neto, just inside Burnley territory here, left-footed, plays it into João Moutinho. Moutinho glides it out to the left-hand side to Ait Nouri, who cuts in, the left wing-back in this Wolves system. They have gone to 3 at the back once again today, having switched back to the old system in the win over Chelsea. Semedo back to Ruben Neves, right foot into Semedo, right side of the area here. Can the right back cross it? Taylor's done really well, and what's that going to be? Is that corner or a goal kick?
Yeah, brilliant defending. Taylor slides in, drives the ball back across, I think it's Semedo, and gets a goal kick. But again, Robin, talking about how Wolves have approached this game, there's no real pace going forward, is there? They've got lots of creativity and attractive play and good passing movements, but there's no real directness. Look, we're used to seeing from Wolves. They burst at pace, they burst with power and quick and hit teams on the counter-attack, but everything's so measured at the moment, which gives Burnley the opportunity defensively to get back in their structure defensively and kind of quash anything that Wolves are doing going forward.
Yeah, and they are going to make a change here, Wolves. And we just saw Fabio Silva warming up on the touchline in the rain. He must have been barked at something, because he pointed to himself as if to say it's me, and then quickly took his bib off. So he's getting ready now, the striker. Wolves need a striker, but it will be the 18-year-old Fabio Silva, who has never scored in the Premier League. He's their new signing, the Portuguese youth international, who was still, prior to his move to Molineux, playing youth football for Porto. He's their youngest ever player, by the way.
It's a massive ask, Rob. We talk about that, the difficult games of a Tuesday night or Monday night in Burnley, when the rain is coming down, your team's 2-0 down, you send on a youngster to change the game for you, and he's not the biggest lad in terms of his presence on the football pitch. Technically he's very, very good. I'm not sure he's going to offer much in terms of holding the ball up against these big central defenders of Burnley, but I guess they're hoping, and Traore is coming on as well. Double substitution from Wolves, it looks like.
Should be fun. Adama Traore coming on, a proper striker coming on in Fabio Silva. Wolves having to respond here 10 minutes into the second half, at 2-0 down to rather brutal Burnley, who have been very Burnley tonight as they have this advantage. Here's Taylor, left side of the field. They're just inside the Wolves half, and he plays it into McNeil. McNeil and Taylor try to work the 1-2, but Nelson Semedo's in the way of it. Been really disappointed with his end product this evening as well. Nelson Semedo, who was brought in as the right back for Matt Doherty. as Wolves switch the play from right to left.
Yeah, you look from an attacking threat, it's only been Neto that's probably been the most creative from Wolves today, and we're so used to seeing at least 2 or 3 players from Wolves going forward creating opportunities for them, but tonight it's been very, very limited.
Moutinho inside his own half, left-footed, clips the ball out to the left-hand side. Otasowie can't bring it under control, although he has won it back, the teenager, and plays it into Moutinho. A fine fizz ball into Ruben Neves in the centre circle, and he picks out Podence, who's nearly wiped out by McNeil. Podence has stayed on his feet and dances towards the area here. Podence, right foot onto his left, now onto his right again, squares it to Pedro Neto on the edge of the area. Neves, Podence into the box now. Difficult angle here for Podence to try and work across, and he's now being surrounded by players in claret and sky blue. Neves collects it from Podence. His attempted cross will spin out for a corner off McNeil, who was injured trying to tackle Podence in the build-up.
Yeah, again, too slow from Wolves going forward. I think Semedo made the wrong run. He should have stayed out wide for Podence to roll him in first time to then cross the ball into the box. He decided to come too central. Podence had nowhere to go, had to try and run forward himself then and score a goal. But again, you look back to Burnley defensively, when they're in a position like they are now, there are 10 bodies back inside the 18-yard box defending that. Very difficult to break down.
Dwight McNeil is just getting to his feet here. It looks like he is okay. We still haven't seen Fabio Silva and Adama Traoré, and it would appear that they will come on maybe after this corner. We can see that Nuno's assistant, Rui Pedro Silva, is giving instructions to the 2 forwards, who Wolves are hoping can change the game for them. They have a corner here though, right-footed with Moutinho. Drops it short into Pedro Neto. Neto left-footed with a deep one to the back post, and it's beyond everyone. And Otasowie's on a mission to retrieve it. He does well here, Otasowie. He's on a yellow card. The youngster in central midfield for Wolves tonight. Manu made a big difference when he came on against Chelsea in the win midweek at Molineux. But nothing comes to the corner. Wolves have to work it back to the halfway line. They have it with Podence now on the right side of the pitch. He goes early with his cross, but it's straight into Pope, who gathers early. And in truth, Darren, the short corners that Wolves have been working haven't really, aside from that Neves shot maybe first half, I can't think of anything else they've really worked from them.
No, but that's where you lack that number 9, isn't it? We talk about Raul Jimenez, how important he is to them, because you know, if you're crossing balls into the box, he's in terms of his stature as well, he scores headers, he scores all types of goals. You take him out the side, they haven't really got too much in an attacking sense that's going to attack those corners or crosses.
Pope has the ball for Burnley. He's just outside his area and has knocked it long up towards Wood near the edge of the Wolves penalty area, but he can't keep it under control. Semedo now will step out from right wing back and plays it into Moutinho. Moutinho across the centre circle into Neves, nicely shifted from right to left here by Wolverhampton Wanderers, trailing Burnley by 2-0 on a wet Monday night at Turf Moor. And without Raul Jimenez, it's really difficult to see how on earth Wolves will work their way back into this. Podence, nice little turn away from Westwood into Moutinho. Moutinho tries to slot a ball in behind, but Semedo not on the same wavelength as the experienced midfielder. And it goes out for a goal kick, and I think Moutinho just slightly frustrated.
Who are we going for on the subs, Rob? I'm going for Semedo and Podence.
I'm going to go Otasowie. I think you'll be worried about that yellow maybe for Otasowie. Oh, Ait Nouri's the man coming off, the left wing back. Did either of us say that? I don't think so.
That surprised me.
So Ait Nouri comes out. So Adama Traoré maybe will now be playing as a left wing back. And the other change sees Otasowie come out and Fabio Silva come on. So they've got a striker on. They've got Adama Traoré in a wide area. Let's see if Wolves can do something with this on the hour, Darren Eady.
Yeah, I mean, we know what we're going to get from Traoré, don't we? He's going to pick the ball up and drive forward as quick as he can with his pace and his power, and his goal-scoring threat, which he has got. I mean, he's come out to the right-hand side here, so maybe it's Neto that's pushed across onto the left. Podence and it seems like Podence and Fabio Silva are going to be playing centrally, I guess.
Yeah, just trying to have a work out the system here. I don't think it's impossible that Wolves have switched to a back 4. Roman Saiss has played not only as centre-back but a left-back this season, and Wolves weren't playing with a back 4 prior to the Chelsea game. So maybe it's 2 up front with Podence and Traoré. We might get a better look at it here as Traoré, with the textbook step-overs, runs at that Burnley back line, immediately causing problems. Still has it, the physical Spanish international. Traoré still has it with Semedo out on his right-hand side. Traoré trying to get to the byline, and he does just that. Great ball in, and the header is over the bar for Pedro Neto. Traoré off the bench for seconds, and he's immediately made an impact.
Well, you can see, can't you? I mean, he's so good on this right-hand side, so quick-footed. It's a brilliant ball into the far post as well. He gets to the byline, clips one up, a little bit of whip on it with his right foot to the far post, and a decent effort. But I'll tell you what, Rob, you try and get the ball off him. He's so strong, he can't get anywhere near him.
I don't think it would go very well.
There's 5 or 6 Burnley players around him who've all given him a little shove, trying to knock him off balance, but he's so strong, direct. I mean, you look at it now, and it's easy to say, isn't it? But you do wonder why he didn't start the game.
He's on here, and I don't know if you've seen it before, Darren. It did go viral previously that Adama Traoré greases up his arms so the defenders cannot grab hold of him. They are glistening under the floodlights here, but Wolves under a bit of pressure as Burnley have shifted the ball into their penalty area, but it's headed away by Conor Coady. Daniel Podence now on the right hand side, shifts forward really smartly here, and he kicks out at Taylor, having had a heavy touch. That should be a yellow card, I think, for Daniel Podence.
Well, I think it's going to give a free kick the other way, to be honest. I think Podence did get pulled back slightly before he made the challenge, so I wouldn't be surprised if the yellow card goes the other way. In fact, Podence does really well, holds the ball up, drives forward. I don't think it's going to be any card shown, but certainly a free kick the other way. It was a late tackle by Podence, but I think he was going for the ball, but I think it was the tug back initially by one of the Burnley players that caused the incidents for Podence to kind of overstretch and make the foul. But the first instance was a foul and a little tug back on him.
Yeah, that's interesting. So we've just seen, it's a great spot, Darren, because that is what the free kick's been given for. But Daniel Podence has still been told off for clattering into Taylor after the incident. So no caution for Daniel Podence. Free kick Wolves, 62.5 minutes gone here, and Burnley still lead 2-0 on Premier League Live. With me, Rob Daly, Darren Eady. On the way, Chelsea versus West Ham, a cracking fixture to finish off match week 14 in the Premier League, and the fixtures will continue to come thick and fast after Christmas, as Traoré is on the halfway line here with 2 Burnley players trying to deal with him, and in the process Wolves have won a free kick, and just the mere introduction of Traoré has changed the energy of the game a little bit.
Yeah, it has, but I mean, the only thing you could say about Traoré is, I mean, he's had 15-16 touches there when he could have had 3 and rolled it to someone else a little simpler. He does sometimes overcomplicate things, but as I said, when he gets into that final third, I think you just let him have the ball and get on with it. I think sometimes he's in these middle areas of the park, he doesn't really offer too much defensively.
Nuno's been talking about how he has played at fullback, wing-back essentially this season, and he's picked it up on the right wing here ahead of Semedo. So Traoré once again in Wolves' colours of gold and black, driving for the byline away from Taylor, dummies to cross and then does and clips it behind. Nick Pope applauds the defensive efforts of Taylor there to deny Traoré his second cross into the area.
Yeah, I think it's Taylor and McNeil both out quick to Traoré out on this right hand side. They know the threat of what he's going to do as soon as he gets the ball. He wants to drive to that touchline and cross the ball in, and Taylor this time not diving in, doesn't go to ground, just keeps his feet, continues to push Traoré towards the touchline and towards the goal line, and doesn't get his cross away at all. Gets it completely wrong and puts it behind for a goal kick.
Screams into the air, Adama Traoré, after his cross goes behind. Burnley 2, Wolves 0 if you are just joining us. Goals from Ashley Barnes on 35 minutes and Chris Wood on 51. As Burnley ahead, and they're in here. Wood looking for a second super turn, and a brilliant save by Patricio. Chris Wood could have wrapped up the win there for Burnley. He was suddenly through one-on-one. Defender came across, he cut around him, and he is pulling his shirt in frustration because Rui Patricio has denied him this time.
Yeah, you say could and should have, Rob. I mean, it's a brilliant ball in as well from, I'm not sure he's from the midfield area, but he keeps himself onside, and I think all the Wolves players were looking around for an offside. He has a brilliant touch. It's a wonderful touch inside the 18-yard box with the outside of his right foot, brings it down, cuts back inside, gets his shot away, but the keeper Patricio does well. He stands up, he doesn't commit himself, but he's got to score. He's got to score there to put his team 3-0 up.
And he knows it as well. You could see from his reaction. Burnley, meanwhile, have won themselves a free kick on the right side of the area. It's crossed deep to the back post. Tarkowski is there again, but the referee has spotted an infringement, and Wolves will be relieved that they don't have to deal with another knockdown. And it's Burnley 2, Wolves 0.
Yeah, I think it was actually Westwood in the centre of the park with a brilliant ball. He whipped a ball in from a central area, almost in the middle of the park in the centre circle. Chris Wood has a brilliant touch, rolls the defender, great touch with the outside of his right foot, does everything right, cuts back inside, one-on-one with a goalie. He's got to score.
Daniel Podence felt he was fouled inside his own half as he danced away from 3 Burnley players, but he did manage to get the pass away as he complains to Lee Mason, and Wolves still have possession here. Ruben Neves trying to get Wolves ticking, moves it into Podence, now dropping into more central areas here, Daniel Podence, after the introduction of Adama Traore, but he can't work a 1-2 with Fabio Silva. Burnley 2, Wolves 0. Out to Traore, squares up to Taylor, the left back. Taylor's done relatively well to deal with him so far, and Taylor gets the challenge in here and kicks the ball against Traore, and in the battle of those two I make it 2-1 Taylor.
Yeah, again though, Rob, look at them, 2 defenders, Taylor and McNeil doubling up on Traore as soon as he picks the ball up on the right hand side here, not diving in, just keeping on their feet. They're not being sold by the tricks and the flicks and the step overs, just driving him wide, and again resulting in a goal kick.
You can see Dwight McNeil there. You mentioned the doubling up. It's spot on there. There's 2 men on Traore when he gets the ball. Dwight McNeil doesn't care where Nelson Semedo is at all, the right back. He's not worried about his end product or him getting the ball. It's all about stopping Traore, and Wolves need to really get going here, because 2-0 at the midway point in the second half looks ominous against a Burnley team that is so organised.
They are defensively as well, and every time they lose the ball they're getting back in those 2 banks of, well, almost there's 2 banks of 4, and even the 2 centre forwards are dropping back almost into a 6 in that midfield area.
Burnley break forward now. Robbie Brady crosses it, Barnes on the volley, and maybe he should have scored there. Edge of the 6-yard box, it was blocked, and Burnley with another chance to make it 3-0. Meanwhile, Wolves got up the other end, a through ball for Podence, but Nick Pope was sharp off his line to get there before the forward and sweep it away 30 yards from his goal. Burnley 2, Wolves 0.
Yeah, Ashley Barnes looking to the skies this time, and rightly so. I mean, it's a difficult one to hit. It's coming across him with his right foot on the volley, but he will be disappointed again. No challenge from the Wolves players inside the box. Connor Coady was going mad at the rest of his defenders because Ashley Barnes is not being picked up at all. He's got time to hit his volley, doesn't hit it cleanly enough. Probably should have got a shot on target at least, and probably should have scored again. And will they rule these chances?
Super link-up play again with Barnes getting that back out to the right hand side, having held it up in the first place, and it was Connor Coady with a block in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, he doesn't hit it cleanly, does he, Ashley Barnes? He's trying to strike with the ball, he's waiting for it. Connor Coady does well, stands up in front of him, and Ashley Barnes doesn't quite catch it right and almost drives it into the floor as he hits it. Doesn't hit one cleanly, and you can see he's disappointed with it.
Robbie Brady, meanwhile, has got a problem here, and the Ireland international who captained his country last year is going to make way. He's had his injury problems, hasn't he, Robbie Brady, through his career, in truth. When he first came through at Manchester United, he comes out, and for a winger Burnley bring on a full-back as Eric Peters, the Dutchman, enters the game with just over 20 minutes to go.
Yeah, I think that's a statement, isn't it, that we're going to try and see this game out. As much as you would like Robbie Brady to stay on there, because he's done well for Burnley today in terms of, well, attacking, but also defensively mostly as well. And able replacement if you have to make a change, take a midfielder off, put a defender on, just to shore that defence up even more.
So Wolves had it. Connor Coady plays it down the line to Traore, who traps it swiftly, and he plays it in field to João Moutinho. Now Neves out to the left hand side to Neto, a little step over away from McNeil, but Neto's forced to go back.
He's been far less effective on that left hand side as well. I know he's left footed, but he's a typical inverted winger, likes to play on the right and cut in onto his left foot.
And interestingly, as we were discussing there, Peters, who is a left back, is playing nominally left midfield. McNeil has gone out to the right hand side, and so they have 2 left backs to deal with Traore. We were talking about how they sort of did with McNeil doing a lot of the defensive work. They literally have 2 left backs now out on that side.
Yeah, I'm surprised actually. Look, they didn't leave McNeil out there, because him and Taylor have done very well against Traore. Sometimes it ain't broke, you don't try and fix it, do you? They were dealing with him very well. But then if you have got an able defender you're bringing on into a midfield area, it makes more sense, I guess, to push him across onto his natural side.
The 2-0, Burnley are backing themselves here to not concede twice, as Podence and João Moutinho tried to work the 1-2, and I think Moutinho will be frustrated with himself there that he didn't get on to the end of that pass, because it's exactly the kind of ball he would play to a teammate. Nick Pope in all green has the ball in his hands, and I'm struggling to think, Darren, feel free to correct me, if Nick Pope's made that many meaningful saves, if any.
No, the only one is in that first half, wasn't it, from Neto cutting in from that right hand side onto his left foot, low and hard. Apart from that, he's been alive though. There was a ball played for just a little while ago, I think, for Podence to try and run onto, and he was sharply off his line to clear it. Difficult for a goalkeeper when you're not doing too much to keep your concentration, but he's I'm sure he'd have it that way rather than having to make 6 or 7 saves, or rather he's probably doing nothing. I'm sure he'd prefer that.
In comes a Burnley free kick meanwhile, as Westwood gets it to the back post. Tarkowski's there again but can't nod it down to a teammate.
They do it every single time, don't they? Tarkowski and Ben Mee in particular on either side both almost stand together, and one of them does the block on the defender to make sure they can't get the header, and the other one jumps higher and tries to get it back across goal. But it's a poor header by Tarkowski as well, and he's put his hand up in the air because it's a great opportunity, free header to try and head it back across goal, but doesn't. I don't think he goes to try and score. It's just a poor header and goes out for a goal kick.
Tarkowski and me so good at working that. Here come Wolves now with Neto though down the other end of the pitch, left side of the penalty area, and Neto, who tries to cut back onto his right foot, has won the corner. 18 minutes of the 90 remaining. Burnley 2, Wolves 0, and Neto will take the corner left-footed on the far side away to our right. By the way, Darren, has Fabio Silva touched the ball yet? The striker, he's been on 12 minutes. He's a youngster here, but I can't remember him touching the ball.
No, I don't think he has. But then for me, he's got to try and get involved in the game himself. He's got to go and look for the ball a little bit, maybe drop a little bit deeper.
He has Chris Wood marking him, and Tarkowski powers away the header from the corner. Neves on the volley. What a hit that was. Super save from Pope. Ruben Neves on the volley, 25 yards out, nearly picked out the corner, but Nick Pope, the England international, claws it away, and it is a corner.
Yeah, classic Neves as well, isn't it? The ball's he's actually moving backwards. He's running backwards to get in line with the ball. Great strike, but I think Nick Pope, probably a camera save, I would say, more than anything else. I think he always had it covered.
When you sit on the replay, it did look more comfortable. But a great strike from Ruben Neves nonetheless, who's yet to score this season. He got 4 goals in all competitions in 2019-20. Of course, he was one of those Wolves players who featured in 55 plus games, given that tremendous Europa League run, their best European campaign since they reached the inaugural UEFA Cup final back in 1972. Some players in that Wolves first team played 57 games.
Incredible. And it didn't affect their league either, does it really? You often say about those European competitions that they can struggle in the league as well, but I mean, they did ever so well to maintain the form they did have in the league as well.
Finished 7th as they did the season before, and only lost out on the Europa League spot on goal difference to Spurs on final day. European football, the objective again for Wolves. They're not in continental action this season, but it's all about fighting to get a result here at Burnley. 2-0 down. Ruben Neves, you're listening to Premier League Live as Conor Coady pings a ball on the halfway line. Burnley are getting deeper and deeper as Max Kilman tries to thread a ball through that Burnley midfield, but it's picked off by Dwight McNeil. Great challenge from Daniel Podence to win it back, and he scuttles away with possession. Tries to work a 1-2 with Fabio Silva, but not enough on the pass back from Silva, and it's cut out by Westwood. Westwood into the channel for Barnes on the right side of the pitch, but Max Kilman was there to read it and plays it into Saiss. I still haven't.
It's almost like Semedo's playing the right back, isn't he? And Fabio Silva, the price tag on him as well, but